Hello witches, and welcome back to Activist Twitch, where we discuss witchcraft and activism. You can call me Isha, my pronouns are Shide, and in today's video we're going to look at the month of June in terms of folkloric almanac, traditions, important dates, and magical elections for the month of June 2026. Buckle up, Buttercup, because we're getting into astrology and folklore and everything. But before we get started, let me remind you that I've opened a Ko-fi and now a Patreon as well. And if you come there, you can actually support directly what I do here, and you get perks in return too. On Patreon, you get all of my videos ad-free. On Ko-fi, you get Discord access so that we can always chat around. You get the PDFs of videos like that, so all the elections neatly in one document with all the descriptions. We do live streams, there are extra videos, so join us and support us and help us because it really helps. And hey, on Ko-fi, you can also get tarot readings with me, Italian style, always with a queer, intersectional and decolonial lens on them. So what are you waiting for? Come along. And if you decide to support us there, thank you so very much. Important dates for the month of June in the British Almanac and calendar in general are: June is Pride Month. I personally have to be proud all year long, but you know, it's nice that straight people remember us during June specifically. In the UK, it's also the month of Gypsy Roman Traveller History Month, which I think is because on the 5th and 7th of June, there's the Appleby Horse Fair, the Romanian Traveller Gathering. And if you'd like to learn more about Romani culture and actually the way that they are treated in this country, there's a beautiful book by Yaron Matras. It's called I Meet Lucky People. It's very interesting. Raven gave it a read, so I'll link it down in the description below. Being June, everything happens around the 21st of June because we have the summer solstice, so the longest day of the year of light in the northern hemisphere, which is also Lita in the Celtic festivals, Sabbats, the festival of the sun, because it's the day that we have the most sun in the northern hemisphere. And then after the solstice, indeed, the days start to shrink again. We'll look at it in a second, actually. And of notoriety for magic people all around the world is the 24th, which it's been Christianized to St. John. In Italy, we have the water of St. John, which you do with the herbs and the dew collected on the night between the 23rd and 24th. But just because it's Christianized doesn't mean that it's Christian. It means that it's been absorbed and appropriated by Christians. But we've talked last year when I was going through the Italian Almanac about all these traditions. The 24th was also considered basically around the solstice, the kind of festival that was around the solstice, before we decided 21st and we calculated 21st. So just so you know, it's also St. John, and for witchy things and making the waters and stuff like that, it's also that. I'll link in the video description the video that I've done last year for June, so you have the Italian traditions there as well, and you hear more about the water of St. John specifically. In terms of light, this is as light as it goes, and this is something that I have learned. I suspected, but I have learned it this month from the British Almanac, which, by the way, it's always linked in the description below as well, because it's bibliography to these videos. Because in the UK, we're quite up north, 50th parallel and over, I've discovered this. From the 50th parallel north, so 50th, 55th, 60th, which I think it's in Scotland, around June, you don't quite get complete darkness, kinda ever. I remember noticing when I went to visit Latvia in June or July, but it's something here as well. So I usually have the perception that between 11 in the evening and 3 in the morning, there's actual darkness. In reality, there is always some sort of twilight, and they are defined differently depending on the parallel we're talking about, so I'll get to that in a second. But in short, and for actual timings, on the 1st of June, today, here in Cardiff, the sun rose at 4:58 a.m. and it's going to set at 21:25 p.m., so 9:30. On the 21st of June, which is the longest day of light, the sun is going to rise at 4:53 and is going to set at 9:35 p.m. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's almost 21 hours of light.
It's a bright June afternoon. It never gets dark.
It's a lot to feel like your body is like, I need to do things. There's light. I'm supposed to work. And who has 21 hours of energy in them? Good for you. But wow. After the solstice, the days start to finally get slightly darker. And on the 30th of June, we have the sun rising at 4:57, so almost around the same time that it rose at the 1st of June, and then it's going to set still at 9:35. So yeah, we've gained those 4 minutes during dawn, but we're still there. We're still there. Now, the interesting thing that I learned about twilight, not the sparkly vampires, the actual phenomenon of the horizon, is this. If you are located 50 degrees northwards in latitude, there will be no proper darkness this month, because the sun will not get far enough below the horizon. When the sun is between 0 and 6 degrees below the horizon, we experience what is known as civil twilight, which is when the sky is bright but the first stars are visible and noctilucent clouds can be seen. When the sun reaches 6 to 12 degrees below the horizon, we are in nautical twilight, when only the brightest stars are visible in a deep blue sky. Between 12 and 18 degrees below the horizon, we experience astronomical twilight, where we can clearly pick out details of the night sky, but we can also see the light from the sunset and the landscape around us. Only when the sun is more than 18 degrees below the horizon and no sunlight is present in our night skies, we will experience true darkness. This will not happen again until August. So I'm not crazy when I say there's too much light in this country during the summer. I'm very glad that the almanac fit this, because last year it wasn't here. And I'm glad that I'm learning it now, because I'm not crazy. Good. Let's go into moons. We have the new moon in Gemini on the 15th of June. And as we saw in the other months, for the new moons, because they are not featured in the British Almanac anymore, we're going to go in New Moon Magic by Amy Torok and Risa Dickens, The Missing Witches. The new moon in Gemini, Amy and Risa dedicate to plants and gardening and the resilience of plants. Gemini moon calls to our adaptability. It asks us to be ready for more than one possibility. It is playful and multiple and mutable. In the 21st century, one of the greatest actions of revolutionary, personal, political and communal well-being is to grow our own food. Most of us don't have the acreage for self-sustaining food production, but this power can be tapped in any space we give it. A single herb in a 2-inch planter is a powerful spell. It is a crack in our dependence on the system of production, tiny but maybe enough to plant a seed. I feel partial to this because since last month, Raven and I have started to plant seeds in our windowsill. We've never been particularly lucky with planting anything, because we are in Wales, we don't get that much light. Our house specifically also doesn't get much light in the windowsill of the kitchen. We've tried anyway, and at the moment, our basil is thriving. Time is coming next, we literally just planted it. I will give you updates as they come. Witches turn to gardening as a means for growing food, ingredients for spells, and a deeper sense of connection to our world. People, animals, places, power. Soil is almost literally everything, a complex mixture of minerals, earth, heat, water, air, infinite living organisms, and decaying remains. Under the Gemini night sky, we see ourselves reflected in each other, we see our twin nature in everything, and it helps us to adapt. We don't run, we dig in. In a hegemonic space that pushes us to do and think and be the same, the mythical, normal, or all alike, remember that rosemary loves the sun, while hostas prefer the shade. Bunchberry needs acidic soil, while lilies like an alkaline bed. Creeping thyme wants to spread, but an iris takes years to self-replicate. Mosquitoes loathe catnip, while cats, of course, adore it. Cinnamon is a prosperity herb. Garlic is for opening the roads. Basil is a money herb. Bay leaves are for manifestation. In nature and in magic, differences are essential. What works for me may not work for you. What works for this may not work for that. We need not to be the same to work together. And into our striving towards a better place, a place we can trust, it's important to remember that each one of us has a role to play in the revolution. And maybe, just maybe, we are already exactly who we are supposed to be. I do advise for you to get a copy of this book. I am not sponsored by The Missing Witches. It's nothing like, I actually just like it, and I think it is a good way to understand and precipitate any concept that we might have towards spirituality, towards our witchcraft, into the real world, and how to remember that witchcraft is rebellion, and so how to rebel to the system with these little actions of rebellion through witchcraft. The incantation for this month is I open the gate laughing. I dig, I plant, I cultivate, bearing witness to birth, life, death, and rot. I can't control the weather, I adapt, learn, and grow. Let the world be my garden, let the whole world be my garden. Do. For the full moon, on the 30th of June, we have the full moon in Capricorn. I always underestimate Capricorn. I don't think I should. What is... I have my Lilith Black Moon in Capricorn, and recently I was reading a post about A.C. Brown, which I don't think any other astrologer has pointed out to things and explained them in a way that I understand and make sense for me. And I say that because I think we need different things to focus on and different things to understand our astrology, especially if we're not astrologers and we just want to understand it from a layperson point of view. AC does it exactly right for me. Recently she made a post about your Lilith sign is the power they punished you for. And that's how I even noticed that my Lilith is actually in Capricorn. And it was absolutely blood-chilling to read it. And I was like, oh my God, how do you know? I don't tell this to anyone. I go slightly ashamed of it. So yeah, I have started to reevaluate Capricorn because I don't have any other placements in it and I didn't think much of it. But then I also realized Capricorn is where Raven has a stellium and I have almost no Earth, whilst Raven has mainly Earth because of this stellium in Capricorn. And so it started to sort of bring together, oh, I can see what you're doing there. So I've reevaluated Capricorns a lot. Not that I thought any less of them. I didn't think about them at all, realizing that. And it's not, sorry, Capricorns, I kind of get it. And you're fierce. You get stuff done. So indeed, this full moon in Capricorn, 30th of June, planet and element Saturn and Earth, manifesting endurance and success. So yeah, I understand why it's cardinal, it's defining of the qualities of Earth. Light a candle and take a quiet moment with a view of the full moon if possible to reflect on how this charm might show up in your life this month. The charm being achievement at any cost in the shadow I bear. Aligning with my purpose is my passion. I am here for a reason. My destiny is set and I am dedicated to my path. See, this is why I have a slight tolerance for Andy. This is Andy to a fucking T. To the point that then he doesn't realize the damage that he does. Hairball. I feel you, Capricorns. I do. I think you get flack for being the sign associated with the devil just because you get shit done. And I sympathize. Especially the part of my purpose is my passion. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, go for it. The Ogham Calendar for this month, from the new moon on the 15th of June, we get the Oak, which is the main tree that we have here on the British Isles. Like, I did not realize how everything fundamentally, if you're in doubt, 50-50 on any tree that you see in the UK, it's an oak. It's a kind of oak. Presiding over summer solstice, this quintessentially British tree, the oak is slow and steady, reminding us of longevity of things. Home to over 2,300 living beings, the oak provides a reciprocal environment for life. The sovereign tree offers food and shelter to his community. He is a resilient host, loyal to his dependents and witness to many life transitions. Centuries of communities have gathered under the protection of his reach. Traditionally a meeting place for village elders, it was believed that agreements made in the presence of the oak would be wise, steadfast, and would endure. These documents would be signed in everlasting ink made from the oak gall, Magna Carta being one such example. Seek out the oak whenever you're in need of wise counsel. He will slow down time, cradle you in his roots, and remind you of your innate resilience and enduring courage to face life's transitions with strength and grace. I find it interesting that we give the oak a masculine energy, mostly because I mentioned it before, haven't I? In Italy and in Italian, everything in language is gendered. Not because it's meant to, but just because of how it's structured, which is why it's very hard to try and insert things like the schwa now in Italian to try and make gender-neutral words, because everything, every little thing has a gender because of the nature of the words. And the oak, la quercia, using a feminine article like la, automatically has fixed it in my head as a feminine tree. Ironically, hazel, it's a he, il nocciolo. No, you don't need the Italian lesson, sorry. But this is the time that we go into the elections for this month, meaning when is the best time to actually make your spells. And I need to be honest with you, June is not this great of a month to do much. The most important thing of June is that it is the last month that we have Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, which means that for a year, Jupiter not only has been happy, but has had a steadfast natural +4, which we're going to lose on the 30th of June. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not comfortable with that, because Jupiter, other than the random mutual reception, is not going to be properly happy in its place until October 2030, which is over 4 years away. So you can understand where my anxiety comes from, because under Jupiter we work, of course, anything prosperity and wealth, but I think less given attention to, but just as important, if not more, any spells that have to do with justice, any spell that has to do with fairness. The fact that specifically Jupiter is in Cancer, which is a sign of family, it's fundamentally the sign of the natural 4th house, so everything that has to do with the past and family. So Jupiter in it helps create and heal bonds with people. So that we're losing that, I'm not super chuffed by it. Quite the opposite. Because we don't have much else going on this month, apart from a couple of mutual receptions of Venus and Mercury with the moon, which is workable, but it's just a bunch of days. I am bringing in the one and hopefully only time that I will ever bring this in, which, along with essential dignities, which is what we do here, is accidental dignities. Now, I don't do that because accidental dignities can be calculated on the exact moment that you cast a chart, so it considers houses as well, so you need a specific moment in time. No, we need to be attentive to the heavens, to the firmament, but at the same time workable and practical. And if I were to actually cast a chart for a specific minute on a day to decide when to cast a spell, I would never do anything. So we need a balance there. I'm doing it for this month because there is an important accidental dignity, important enough that even Chani Nicholas, which Chani is clever, Chani doesn't tell you that she's doing debilities and dignities, but that's what she does when she talks about Jupiter being happy in Cancer and those kind of things. There's the conjunction of Jupiter and Venus on the 9th of June. They meet in Cancer. Now, according to the Chaldeans and Christian astrology by Lilly and all that has to do with dignities and abilities and ancient Hellenic astrology, basically, when a planet, any planet, is conjunct to either Venus or Jupiter, which are the benefic planets, they get a +5. Again, I don't usually talk to you about accidental dignities, but because this time is not even just a planet, but they meet each other, so good and good makes good, that's why I'm bringing it up. So technically, the 9th of June, it's a very, very good day to work with either Venus or Jupiter, because the fact that they meet means that Venus gets a +5 because she's conjunct to Jupiter, and Jupiter gets a +5 because he's conjunct to Venus. They meet at 25 degrees Cancer. I just tell you, you decide what to do that day. It's a Tuesday, it's chill, so it's not the day of either of those planets, but because of that accidental dignity, if you have anything to work with and under the domain of Venus or Jupiter, that is an interesting day. I'm just saying that. That's it. Again, 1st to the 29th of June, it's your last chance to work well with Jupiter. So any of the Thursdays between here and the end of June, it's your time to do that. There's also a couple of moments where Jupiter has mutual receptions with the moon. They don't touch Thursdays, but they touch Sundays. I personally feel that when you work with Jupiter on a Sunday, which is the day of the sun, which therefore has to do with you, your personhood, your ego, they kind of go well together. So if you want to do spells under the domain of Jupiter about yourself, so sun and therefore Sunday, Sunday the 7th and Sunday the 27th are good days because Sunday the 7th, Jupiter is in mutual reception with the moon being in Pisces. Jupiter usually rules historically Pisces, so there's one. On the 27th of June, the moon is in Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter. Again, this happens. Again, I am inconsolable for the fact that July onwards, until October 2030, we have to hope for the best. We have to work with Venus, realistically. Venus goes around quicker. She's the lesser benefic, but still good. So, and that's why we do these, realistically. Like, that's why in the PDFs I give you ideas for spells as well to do, the unexpected spells to do, because other than, you know, again, thinking that Jupiter is all about wealth and prosperity and money, Jupiter is about so much more than that, and that's why I give you the unexpected spells there. If you join as a Descendant or over, you get those PDFs, so just everywhere, every month, for you. It's like 20 pages that I go through. As I mentioned, there is a brief moment in which Venus, it's kind of okay, other than the conjunction with Jupiter. Venus is in Cancer, and it's currently in the term between degree 20 and 27 of Cancer, which she rules, so she gets a +2. It's not ideal to work with a planet if it's under +5. I'm just telling you. This is important because Thursday the 11th to Saturday the 13th, there is a mutual reception with the moon. The moon is in Taurus, and Venus rules Taurus. So with the mutual reception, it gets a +5 for a moment, which along with the term that she rules, she gets a +7 between Thursday and Saturday, which means the Friday, the 12th, which is ruled by Venus, it's a good day to work with Venus because between the mutual reception and the term, she's a +7. But that's the only proper day in the entirety of June. So get ready. We also have a moment with Mercury because of mutual reception with the moon mainly. Mercury as well is in Cancer. And Saturday the 13th to Monday the 14th, it gets a +8 because it's not only in the term of Cancer between 13 and 20 degrees, which it rules, +2, it's also in his own phase in Cancer between degrees 10 and 20, +1, +3 in total. So when it has the mutual reception with the moon, who goes into Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, currently in Cancer, ruled by the moon, it gets a +8. The same happens between Friday the 19th and Sunday the 21st. Who rules Libra? Venus rules Libra, yeah. Yes, it happens again with the mutual reception. Friday the 19th to Sunday the 21st, Mercury gets a +5 because it's a mutual reception with the moon, who is in Virgo, who Mercury usually rules, therefore a +5. Are there amazingly good days for that? No. I would work that one day with Venus and the rest of the month with Jupiter, and that's pretty much it for June. Yeah, that's, you know, as sky moves, we move, and therefore that's why I do these calculations every month, because every month very much differs, and June is a bit meager, I will not lie. Right, I hope this was useful to you, gave you some ideas. If you come on Coffee or Patreon at the Dissident level, you're gonna get all of these in PDFs and more, or you can just get month by month the one-off PDFs if that month is particularly of interest to you. They are on my Coffee and on my Patreon. You can buy them as standalone. They cost slightly more than being a Dissident, so if you're a Dissident, you actually get these for free every month. There we go. Thank you so much for watching, and until then, I really do hope that we can hex the patriarchy together, because there's need for it.